Welcome everyone, it's Alfie Dixon from Heavyweight News and I'm joined with none other than the Romford heavyweight prospect Johnny Fisher. Johnny, how are you doing today, mate?
Thanks Alfie, thanks for coming down. Just done a bit of training with Mark and good to get in the gym again.
Absolutely, mate, looking sharp. I was glad to be able to come down and actually watch you in action.
Yeah.
You were telling me that you've trimmed up a little bit. You're obviously, you're in I think your third week of training with Mark Tibbs. So how is everything going with that? How is it changing you as a fighter?
Oh, it's brilliant just to have Mark in the corner and just gelling nicely with him at the minute. I've trimmed down a little bit, I'm still around 17 stone, but we're going to keep that size. It's just where I've had to adjust to more training. It means I get a bit more food in me as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, everyone wants to talk to you at the moment, and I know you've spoken about it quite a lot. But obviously, your amateur background. Obviously, there's not too much of an amateur background at the moment. But I do believe that everyone believes that you are going to go in there and cause an upset in the heavyweight division. So, how do you think that will play a part in the fact that you don't have that much amateur experience, but the amateur experience you do have, you were doing fantastic. All the sparring partners you've had and so forth. So how do you think that's going to make a difference in your pro career?
I'm not going to make any excuses. I know I've got to have a good building process with Mark. I've got a perfect trainer to do it. I've got a great management set up, and with Eddie as my promoter, Matchroom, I've got a perfect setup now. So I'm not going to rush. I'm going to take my time. I've got the tools, and I know from my explosive record that I know I can get to the top. It's just a matter of being patient and taking the right risks at the right time.
Yeah, and talking about that record, for anyone who might not know, what was that record?
So I had 10 amateur fights. I was 6 as a junior actually. I got to London champion, quarter-final at Nationals, and then all my amateur fights I won 3. I only had 4 senior fights, and 3 of them were won by round 1 knockout. So I didn't have the longest career, but it was explosive, and I know that with the pot sparring I had and everything that's going on, I'm in a good position.
Yeah, and what I find really interesting is, would you like to take that on into your pro career? Would you like to make a statement and knock out your first 10 opponents, or do you think you want to take it easy, get the rounds in, and sort of work up by then?
My natural instincts are to go for the kill. That's how I've been trained. That's what I like. I'm an aggressive fighter. But I know with Mark, he might say, look, this round, work on this and do this. But whatever Mark says, I know it's what's going to benefit me in the ring. So some people might break down over 4, 5, 6 rounds. Some people it might only take 1 round. Whatever happens, whatever's in front of me, I have to break it down and assess the situation. And from there, I can make a decision as to how to go about my business.
Absolutely. And obviously there's a huge congratulations in order, because you've just signed with Matron Boxing. Obviously you're managed by Boxing, which is 2 fantastic companies looking after you. How did that actually come about? Was there a couple of promotional companies that were after you, and you've, together with Boxing, have come to agreement that you're going to take them on?
It was brilliant. I had 2 or 3 promoters after me. I thank them all for their time. It's really good to have that interest shown in me. But it's about 2 weeks ago, Sam said Eddie's interested in signing me. And as a boxing fan, your eyes immediately light up and think, oh my God, Matchroom offering you to turn professional. There's no better platform than that with Sky Sports and everything. So we assessed it still. We didn't get carried away. We know that Eddie's a great promoter, the best promoter in the world. So I made the right decision, and we're rolling now. We're ready to go.
Absolutely. And with that said, I know we spoke about it briefly earlier, but when are you looking to get out? That's what I think everyone who's behind you and excited to actually see you perform, when are you hoping to get out?
Definitely by the end of the year. We're looking November, December time, so that gives me plenty of time to work with Mark to build and get the foundations there.
Amazing.
So definitely by the end of the year, and that sets me up nicely projected into 2021, when we hope all for a better year for everyone.
And do you think if you were to fight this year and it was behind closed doors, do you think that would actually play in your favour, where you've had this is the start of your career, you've probably fought on small ball shows up to now, do you think that will play to your advantage?
Listen, I love bringing a crowd to my fights. My amateur days, I brought hundreds of fans down to Exeter University when I was boxing local in Essex in Dagenham. It was brilliant. I had loads of support and loads of fans. But the job is a job, and I don't mind boxing behind closed doors. I've also boxed on smaller shows as an amateur. So whatever's put in front of me, I'll adapt to that. And it'll be an honour to fight on any show at the end of this year. I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolutely, mate. It sounds amazing. And do you think that you have anyone in mind that you'd actually like to go up against? Is there anyone in the division at the moment, maybe not calling out wise, but do you think that your style could match with a couple of the people in the heavyweight division style as well?
Listen, I've got respect for all boxers. It's a great honour, and it takes courage to get in the ring. So I'm not in the business of calling people out, but I know there's people up there who 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fights. Who knows? I could be there sooner than I think. I'm ready to get in with them guys. And listen, whoever's there, I'll give it my best shot, and I know I can do a number on it.
Absolutely, mate. And obviously, I think you've mentioned previously that the way you actually got in there with Matchroom Boxing is by going and sparring Joe Joyce, which is a great story, and I think it's great how that happened. How did that, how did that change your mindset from someone who, was coming down to train and do a little bit of sparring to actually sitting there and thinking, I want to actually become, a pro heavyweight boxer now, and I want to cause an upset on the scene?
Yeah, it's brilliant. So I was at university at the time, just revising in the library doing my exams, and I just messaged Sam out of the blue because I was looking for sparring for Joe, and he was really friendly. Came down to me, and said, yeah, no problem, Freddie, come along. Sparred him a couple of times. I've done well against Joe. Joe was really good for me because I learned a lot from him. He's a top world-class fighter. So when I sparred with him, went out to Vegas with him, I thought, this is what I want to do in my life. It became a bit more real when I started sparring with Joe and having the opportunities to train with him, train alongside him. That's when I really started to get the bug, because I did have a break from boxing. I was playing rugby at university for the first year and a half, and it's only like the second year I was getting into boxing a little bit more, because I've done it since I was 6 or 7. So it's just one thing after the other. Momentum kept building and building, and from there we're here now. So just keep rolling and keep going.
Absolutely, and obviously one of the best places to go and have a training camp is Vegas. So how did you find that, mate? Was it strange to be there? Was it the first time you actually went out there?
Yeah, first time I've been to America. It was unbelievable. Everything's 10 times bigger than you get over here. Yeah. Unfortunately, we weren't on a lad's holiday or doing a stag do of any sort, but we just had a brilliant time training, going running in the canyons. We trained at the UFC PI gym as well, and just to be in that experience of a professional camp. What more taste do you want of professional boxing than that? And for Sam to give me the opportunity, Sam and Adam, it was fantastic to get out there and just shadow Joe and have a look.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you've mentioned in a previous interview that your dad John, he had a little bit of an amateur background. So was that the reason you were kind of, I wouldn't like to say pushed into boxing, but was that why you were taken to boxing classes and so forth?
It runs in the family. So my dad wasn't an amazing amateur, but he was a very sporty man. He played football to a high level, played for Leighton Orient Reserves, boxed for the Repton, boxed for the Line at the same time. So boxing's in the family. My granddad's a big fan. Where we're from, a lot of people love boxing in the East End of London.
So it's in your blood, basically.
Yeah, we love boxing. It's part of our DNA. So for me to have the opportunity to now pursue it as a career, it's a dream come true.
Absolutely. And do you think that there's anyone sort of past greats that you would compare yourself to? I always love asking that question because it makes you think. So is there anyone in the past greats, Muhammad Ali, Frank Bruno, them type of guys, that you would compare yourself to?
Oh, it's hard to answer that question without sounding like really big-headed. I would never compare myself to someone on the same level. People I look up to, Lennox Lewis, Vitaly Klitschko. I like Andrew Galotta. I think there's a lot to take from him. I know he's a bit of a wild card, but he's a really aggressive fighter. I like to watch a lot of Tommy Morrison as well. And I take little bits from different people. Frank Bruno, another role model of mine. So you can take bits from different fighters and see, maybe if I develop my skills a little bit, I can use a bit of what Lennox Lewis had with that lovely jab, and Vitaly Klitschko and his reflexes and things like that. So there's all different fighters out there you can take little bits of information from, and they're all role models. And one day, if I can be anywhere near that sort of level, I'll be very happy.
100%, mate. And I think you're quite an aggressive, come-forward fighter. But the reason, no doubt, that you're joining with someone like Mark Tibbs, who's got that pedigree, is to brush up and become that full package. What is it, apart from you, being potentially a fantastic knockout artist? What else do you want to bring to the ring?
I don't want to just be known as someone who comes forward and goes for the knockout, because that is who I am. That's what I'm going to be. That's going to be a huge part of how I fight. But working with Mark, it's all about the little subtle movements as well. Developing my jab. He said I've got a really good jab, and he's really, really impressed with it. So if we can work at throwing at different angles, different heights. I know I can box as well. I can box on the back foot. I've got the skills. I've shown it in the past as a young junior amateur. But as a senior fighter, I was very much come forward and just relied on being strong. But I know I've got it in my locker to be able to spar and to fight and be a good boxer at the same time. So it's about becoming a bit more of that whole package and having 5%, 10% of that little bit of refinement. So it'll be brilliant to work with Mark.
So we're looking forward to seeing it, mate. But thank you very much for having us down today.
Thanks very much,
you're a top lad, and we can't wait to see you on your debut.
Can I just say a big shout out to Everlast for supporting me and my kid, and to Maitland Kensington Recruitment, MKA, John Emery and Gary Birdie. They're really helping me out with sponsoring me from the beginning. So thank you to them, and thanks for coming down.
No worries, mate. Cheers.